Welcome to the FCS Recap Podcast episodes. It's time for another week of FCS football. This week's episode is brought to you by Existential Dread. The first game was Davidson, number 7, taking on VMI. VMI scored 31 points to win 31-17. Their last play was Chew the Clock Kneel. The next game was North Carolina Central and Delaware, since this week was a non-conference week where you would play someone that was not in your conference. This game ended with Delaware scoring 35 points to the 16 points that North Carolina scored, and Delaware kneeled out the game for the last play. In game day, we had number 2 Mississippi Valley State against unranked Valparaiso. Valparaiso surprised the Bulldogs, scoring 14 points in the second and third quarters, winning 28-7. The last play of the game was a true run that gained 1 yard and was a turnover on downs, except the clock had run out. The next game, we have Incarnate Word and East Tennessee State, both 2-2. This game came down to the wire with both teams having points. East Tennessee State was up 31-23. Incarnate Word scored a touchdown to bring it to 31-29, failed the 2-point conversion, and then the final play of the game was an ETSU kneel. And then we had number 16 Norfolk State hosting Rhode Island. Rhode Island scored 34 points and defeated Norfolk State 34-31. The final play was a field goal from 28 yards, as Rhode Island's kicker put it through the uprights. Then number 4 North Dakota State visited number unranked Dixie State, and North Dakota State scored 21 points in the second quarter to take a 21-16 lead at halftime, and then held a Dixie State scoreless in the second half, with the final play of the game being a kneel. Southeastern Louisiana played Brown, and Brown defeated Southeastern Louisiana 34-28. The last play of the game was a hurry pass, and it was a bubble screen that gained 1 yard and left 4 seconds on the clock and not enough time to run a final play. Then we had Jackson State, number 10, taking on Northern Colorado, and Jackson State won that game 41-24, kneeling out the game as the final play. Penn played Idaho. This would be 2 coaches that everybody would know about, and Penn won 17-15 as they kneeled the clock out on the Idaho 21 instead of choosing to score again. Maine played number 8 Eastern Washington, and Eastern Washington ended up winning 42-35. The final play of the game was an incomplete pass by Maine as they attempted the Hail Mary, and it fell incomplete from the 30-yard line. Holy Cross played North Dakota, and North Dakota won 45-14. Holy Cross stayed winless as the final play of the game was a chew run that gained 0 yards by the North Dakota team. Number 17 Butler visited number 25 Sacred Heart, and Sacred Heart ended up winning 42-28 as they scored 14 in both the third and fourth quarters. The final play of the game was a 3-yard pass by Butler that ended at the 33-yard line. North Carolina A&T played Delaware State, and North Carolina A&T scored 28 points in the third quarter to go up 49 points to 35 points, and ended up kneeling out the game before this one ended. Towson played Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern went up 26-14, and the final play of the game was a 30-yard pass by the Towson team, but they did not have any timeouts left and could not run another play, so they stalled at the 17-yard line. Pretty tough nails to swallow there as Charleston Southern stays undefeated. Then we had Houston Baptist at Florida A&M, and Houston Baptist surprised everyone to win this game 27-21. The final play of the game from scrimmage was a negative 10-yard run by the Houston Baptist team. New Hampshire, number 14, at number 1, Princeton, and New Hampshire is the team that came out on top as Princeton would not go down fighting, but the final play of the game was a sack for -1 yards. as New Hampshire won this one. Eastern Illinois played Morehead State, and Eastern Illinois won this game. And the final play of the game was a burn the clock punt. And I believe that punt was blocked. Yes, that punt was blocked by Morehead State, so went down fighting. Kennesaw State played Prairie View A&M, and despite Kennesaw State being undefeated and Prairie View A&M being winless, the final play of this game was a kneel as Kennesaw State won 21-20. A failed 2-point conversion by Prairie View A&M is what did them in. Tennessee State is winless, and they played Dayton, and Dayton won 31-27 in a game that was probably closer than they would have liked. The final play of this game was a kneel. Dartmouth played number 11 Lafayette, and Lafayette ended up winning 38-34. The final play of the game was a PAT by Dartmouth as they scored a 70-yard touchdown pass as time expired, and then kicked the PAT to cut the deficit to 4. It's all about the MOV, baby. Sacramento State played number 13 Columbia, and Columbia lost by 1 point in overtime. The final play of this game was the Sacramento State point after attempt going through the uprights in the first overtime period as they won 34-33 over Columbia. It looks like Columbia missed the PAT on their first drive, and that is how Sacramento State had the door open to win. Western Illinois played Western Carolina in the Battle of the Westerns, and Western Carolina ended up defeating the undefeated Western Illinois 34-17 as the final play of the game was a Western Illinois pass for 9 yards as time expired, tackled short of the goal line in enemy territory. This game was Grambling State at number 24 Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman ended up losing 37-26. The final play of this game was a kneel down as Grambling State won. Richmond played Wofford, and Richmond ended up winning 47-42 as the final play from this one by the coach was Neil Diamond. Richmond 47, Wofford 42. Central Arkansas played South Dakota, and South Dakota ended up winning 33-28. The final play of this game was an 11-yard run by South Dakota as they were chewing the clock and were able to run the clock out after that play. Samford played Lamar in the battle of 1 and 3 teams. Samford ended up winning 31-28, and they were able to kneel out the clock as they had the ball after there was an interception with 3:40 left, and that is how Samford had the ball. 31-28, no points were scored in the fourth quarter of this one. Wow, I need to go faster. Elon played Youngstown State, and Elon won 49-28. The final play of this game was a kneel. Southeast Missouri and Fordham had to be restarted, and Southeast Missouri won 35-30 as the final game play of this game was a kneel. Presbyterian played Duquesne, and Presbyterian won 47-28 after scoring 30 points in the third quarter. Duquesne did not score a point. They scored 28 in the first, and then Presbyterian scored 30 in the third to win 47-28. The final play of this game was a point after attempt. It was successful with 4:57 left in the third, and then the Duquesne coach disappeared. Missouri State and Northern Iowa played. Northern Iowa won 29-0. The final play of this one was a run by Missouri State, who was tackled for a loss of 5. Arkansas Pine Bluff played Montana. Arkansas Pine Bluff won 43-27. They scored 22 points in the first quarter and never looked back. The final play of that game was a kneel. We had Sam Houston State at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is number 23. Sam Houston State put up 59 points, including 21 in the fourth quarter, to win 59-34. The final play of this game was a pass by the Dolphins, and it was a screen pass that lost 3 yards. Yale played Cal Poly, and Yale won 41-21, and the final play of this one was a kneel. North Alabama played Stephen F. Austin, and North Alabama won 45-35. The final play of this one was a 30-yard pass by North Alabama from the 3-yard line to... it was a 30-yard pass by Stephen F. Austin to the 33-yard line of North Alabama, and then the clock ran out. Northwestern State played Chattanooga, and Chattanooga won 21-17. The final play of this game was a chew kneel, not just a kneel. Citadel played James Madison, and James Madison won 38-34. The final play of this game was also a chew kneel. Texas Southern played some scrub game, and the last play of this game was a kneel. Mercer played a restarted Southern team, and Mercer ended up winning 26-14 as the quarterback took a knee for the final play of the game. Marist played Eastern Kentucky, and Eastern Kentucky squeaked by 29-27 as the final play of this one was a kneel by Eastern Kentucky as they were able to run out the clock with some chew passing. Villanova played Gardner-Webb, and someone had to win this one, and it ended up being Villanova, as the last play of this game was a chew run, and they gained 7 yards and a first down. Hampton played Idaho State and did not really sweat on this one, scoring 14 in the first, 19 in the second, winning 36-14. The final play of the game was a missed field goal by the Idaho State Orange and Black Cats. Jacksonville State played Nicholls State, and Jacksonville State played a lot of points, 42-14. The final play of the game from scrimmage was a run of 3 yards by Nicholls, and it was 3rd and 7. Montana State played Morgan State in a classic out-of-conference matchup. Really got to love this matchup, not one you see very often, and Montana State won 34-7 with the final play being a kneel down. Cornell played Northern Arizona. Cornell won 27-17 with the final play from scrimmage being a run for 6 yards. Robert Morris played South Carolina State, and South Carolina State scored 26 in the second quarter, never looked back in a 47-20 victory. The final play from scrimmage was a 16-yard run for South Carolina State. Drake played Central Connecticut, and Drake won 35-28 as the final play of the game was a chew-the-clock punt by Drake, and they punted it to the 18-yard line. Tarleton State played Alabama State, and Tarleton State scored 25 points to the 7 of Alabama State, and the final play of the game was a chew run 12-12 that gained 3 yards. San Diego played Monmouth. One of them had to win. It ended up being Monmouth. The final play of the game came with 1:56 left in the first, and it was a negative 10-yard run. Stetson played number 15 McNeese State, and McNeese State scored 35 points against Stetson as the final play of this game was a point-after attempt with 2:23 left in the second quarter. Illinois State played a restarted UT Martin team, and Illinois State won 28-7. The final play of this one was a 4-yard pass with 1:57 left in the second quarter. Furman played a restarted William & Mary, and William & Mary scored 24 points over that restarted time. The final play of this game was a 20-yard pass with 1:51 left in the second as William & Mary won 24-7. Abilene Christian played Alabama A&M. Abilene Christian scored 3 touchdowns, and the final play was a pass by Alabama A&M that went out of bounds. Incomplete as they lost 21-7. Alcorn State played Lehigh. Lehigh scored 44, and Alkine scored 31. The final play of this one was an onside kick that was recovered at the 45 for 10 yards by the receiving team. Wagner played Tennessee Tech, and Tennessee Tech scored 43 points in the second quarter. I don't even know how that happened. The final play of this one was a 6-yard run for the Tennessee Tech team, and that came with 4:26 left in the third, and then the game was ended 50-21. In favor of Tennessee Tech, Murray State and Albany. Albany scored 42 points to defeat Murray State. The final game play in this one was a negative 1-yard run by the North Dakota State team. Colgate and Portland State played. Portland State scored 21 points, and the final play from scrimmage was 5-yard run with 1:42 left in the third. Southern Illinois and Indiana State played a game. 31-10 was the score for Indiana State. The final game, the final play from scrimmage was a chew run 420 that got 0 yards. Getting close to the end, Harvard played Long Island, and Harvard won 30-18 as the final play from scrimmage was a -3-yard fumbled ball recovered by the offense with 6:56 left in the fourth. Bucknell and UC Davis played. 53-14 was the win for Bucknell. The final play of the game was a -1-yard run by Bucknell with 6:52 left in the fourth. South Dakota State and Merrimack played each other. South Dakota State won 26-3. The final play of the game was a 0-yard run with 5:52 left in the fourth. Southern Utah played number 19 Georgetown, and Georgetown won 31-25. The final play of the game was a 3-yard run for the Georgetown Hoyas. Austin Peay and Weber State played. Austin Peay scored 20 points. Weber State scored 10. The final play of the game was a point after attempt with 2:19 left in the fourth. Stony Brook and St. Francis both had to be restarted. St. Francis won 20-10 with, 1:04 left in the fourth. St. Francis scored on a 1-yard touchdown run. Bryant and Howard played each other. Bryant won 6-0. The final play of the game was a 3-yard pass into the end zone with 21 seconds left in the second quarter, and then, of course, my man got roasted on Twitter. All right, that brings us to the end of the FCS recap episode podcast time frame that we have. Once again, brought to you by Existential Dread.